So the process kind of was really pretty interesting, actually. It was like basically about a year of us discussing these things, and emails back and forth, and questions, and then it became pared down into writings, basically, sort of longer writings, sort of like pages and pages on each idea, and basically like the seven beggars, for example. So there's really each beggar really represents another idea in service of God, and so let's say we would take like one of those beggars, like the blind beggar, and we'd start with that idea, and then sort of we would have this thing, and then we would pare that down. Ephraim would write it. He would write it down from sort of pages and pages on it to like a very intuitive language, almost like poetry, like a very more instinctive, like emotional, maybe 15 lines or something like that. And then when I went to write my record, I had this like packet of ideas with maybe about 20 ideas, each about like anywhere from 10 to 30 lines or so. And I kind of like kept it with me wherever I was writing. And then there was this whole backstory of like all the work we had done leading up to that, to pare it down. And then when I would go to write music, whoever I was writing music with, we would work on a track, let's say, and then basically when the track was complete, not complete, but on its way, I would sit and listen to it, and then I would kind of read through these ideas and feel like which one felt like the right idea for that music. And then I would start to write lyrics based on those sort of paragraphs. And sometimes I would take actual words from there. Sometimes I would change and sort of, develop, because a lot of my songs are more wordy, and that's kind of how the songs came into play. And then I met a rabbi, a Chabad rabbi, who had come from similar experience as me, like Grateful Dead, and very young, charismatic, and funny, and had gone through all the drugs and stuff. And I saw him in the way he was living, and he had like already 2 kids, and he was living in the village, like doing outreach basically to Jews, young Jews and stuff. And he was a very extremely just fun person, lighthearted person to be around. And I am not that way. Like I can be, but I was like, everything to me is always like, so heavy, like, this decision to be religious or not be religious. So I really got close to this guy and moved into his, sort of went through some hard things with my parents, and then moved in with him and his family, and slept on the couch in his 2-bedroom apartment for about 4 or 5 months, and we became very good friends. And we would do these ridiculous things like, on Shabbos, walk 3 miles to the mikveh, and wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and try and say the whole book of Psalms, and then before morning prayers, and I would walk to different shuls, and from Brooklyn to Manhattan over the bridge, and I started sort of right away, got kind of indoctrinated into like the Chabad thinking,